coming back from the grocery store. I was just at a stoplight, and all of a sudden I heard just a few pops in the distance. Really didn't make any sense at the time, but maybe the third pop or so, it also was followed by more or less like a little mini explosion, and it sounded like basically a brick was coming through the window. Raised my arm up, more or less to block myself from what was coming, the glass in the window, and just realized maybe 2 seconds later that I had been shot. At that point, it was more or less the shock as far as, is this really happening? More or less confused, like what in the world's going on? I hear the screams in the background, and I just hit the gas and drive myself to the hospital. There was a lot of different mixed emotions involved with that. Most of the time when I'm going to the grocery store, I actually have my daughter, Emerson. Those type of emotions run through your mind as far as things could have played out differently. She could have been in the car and she would have been witness to something that, no parent or no child really should have to go through. Once you think you're past a certain point of being in the inner city or, being around random gang violence and all the stereotypical things that are associated with a crime or a crime of like basically being shot, you realize that you're not safe, and you realize that it can happen to anyone. It's not, again, about that stereotype. It's not about poor and black or white, or it's just about violence that needs to be stopped. Life is precious, so for those individuals that don't realize that what they're doing and the families that they're affected, it's just bigger than that one moment. It's about respect for life and respect for others at the simplest in the simplest form. So
I'm Yvette Brown, an associate professor of media studies here at Governor State University, and Kyle is my son. I was profoundly impacted by the violence that shook our family that night, but fortunately, we survived it. But I didn't just want to accept the pain and be grateful that I didn't lose my child. I wanted to act. The Respond to Violence initiative grew out of that desire and the belief that if one child is not safe, no child is safe. So please join me and the GSU community in a search for solutions to this crisis that's destroying communities and impacting lives. Thank you for being here, and thank you for responding.